Whether your Harmony or Infinity system has been in operation for 40 years or recently installed, ABB's industry-leading lifecycle commitment to evolution without obsolescence has resulted in continuous delivery of new technology and features while protecting your valuable investments in hardware, software, engineering, and staff expertise. Today we have taken that commitment to exciting new heights with the introduction of the Symphony Plus SDe series. The E in SDe represents the ability for our users to evolve, enhance, and expand their installations using a common set of space-fit components for use within the current module mounting unit, in a modernized module mounting unit, and for DIN rail mounting. In this video, I will demonstrate these three use cases as they apply to the SDe process controller. In this first use case, the Facility Control System team would like to evolve towards a higher performance SDe series controller and the PN800 plant communication network, which provides Infinet over an industrial standard Ethernet backbone. This can be accomplished by basically replacing the BRC410 with an SDeV controller. First, let's stop the BRC410 controller. And we see that communications have stopped with the SD and the HR rack I/O. We can pull this out of its slot. So here we have the A10EV controller. It consists of the A10E common component, common controller, mounted on a carrier board, which allows for easy insertion into an MMU rack. All right, so we're going to slide the A10EV into its slot. It's running its diagnostics, and we'll begin to establish communications with the PN800 network. And now it's connected to the PN800. It's in execute and establishing communications now with the rack and with the SDIO. It's established with the rack over expander bus, and it has established communications now over HN800 with the SDIO. And with that, this first evolutionary step is complete. The SVA10EV is now in operation, has in effect functionally replaced the BRC410 while preserving the existing control application. In the second incremental step, the plant is looking to enhance I/O functionality with features such as I/O redundancy, integrated HART, channel selectable SOE, and the ability to force values. This can be accomplished by swapping the existing module mounting unit with a modernized SDe Evolution chassis, designed for one-for-one SDIO replacements of HRIO modules while keeping field wiring, termination units, or termination modules, and module cable in place. All right, so let's first stop the A10EV controller. It stops communications. We'll pull it out of the MMU. So now we have the A10EV. Now we have the A10EV. And we're going to take the A10 controller out, first taking away the front plate, and then pulling out the A10E from the carrier board. I can now use the same A10E in the Evolution chassis by taking it and mounting it into its mounting base on the Evolution chassis. And we see it's running through its startup diagnostics, establishing communication with the PN800. Now that it's established communications, it's put itself in execute and communicating with the SDE-IO over the HN800, the backplane of the Evolution chassis. So the main advantage of this incremental step is that the existing cabling is fully preserved in the rear of the cabinet. The controller PN800 communication cables and the mounting unit used in the previous rack solution remain intact, and all the original I/O module cables remain and connected in their original positions. And all the termination units or termination modules at the other end of these cables and all the related field wiring on that end is not disturbed or touched at all. For the case where the current installation is expanding with a new remote cabinet or adding an entirely new greenfield unit, the same SDe controller module can be applied by installing the SDe controller directly into the DIN rail mounting base and connecting with local or remote SDIO and communicating with other SD, SD, and SDEV controllers over the PN800 network. All right, so let's stop the A10E. Stopped communications. We'll pull it out of its base. And we'll walk over here where we have a remote cabinet with a lot of SDIO in it. And we're going to plug the A10E into its mounting base, the DIN rail mounting base. And again, we see the A10E running its startup diagnostics. It is establishing communications on the PN800. And then, once in execute, it is establishing communications with the SDIO. And now it's fully running. So we have one controller used in 3 different forms. We showed it in the rack. We showed it with SDIO on an Evolution chassis within the cabinet, same space fit, 1-for-1. And we showed it in a greenfield or an expansion application running with standard SD DIN IO mounted equipment.